Hi everyone, I'm Michael Schwartz, founder of WearLab, and we develop wearable, intuitive information systems for people with disabilities. You go blind tonight. What does your tomorrow look like? How do you get to work? How do you get to school? Can you care for a blind child? How do you get groceries for your family? I've interviewed dozens of blind people, and I've heard dozens of stories, and they're all heartbreaking, and yet they're inspiring. Tales of triumph, of joy, but sadness, sorrow, pain. This story stuck with me. This is John Mark. John Mark is a 54-year-old combat veteran. He's a husband, a father. He loves to be outside, and he loves to play with his dog. And he's afraid to go to Disney World. Why might he be afraid to go there? It's because recently he made a visit there, and a group of tourists took his cane from him. They took more than just the tool that he uses to interact and experience the world with. They took his friend, and one of his friends, they separated him from his guide dog. Now imagine that. They didn't just separate you from your tool, from your friend. They separated you from your dignity. What if they did that to your child, your spouse? These are real pains, and they feel them. So, we used science to develop a prototype. Based on prior studies that were done at UCF for the military, they used a vibrotactile interface to tell soldiers where to go under stress. Now, if you're a blind person walking through downtown Orlando and you're about to cross Rosalind, maybe you're feeling a little stressed. It's a discrete, intuitive interface. In fact, if you look closely, I'm wearing it right now. My eyes are up here. Prototype's here. Shh. That's the after party. It's designed to be used hands-free, not encumbering the ears, which separates it from other solutions. Again, it's discrete, it's intuitive, it's hands-free, and it's designed for both indoor and outdoor use. It comes with a companion mobile app that we're developing using the Xamarin platform so that it can be readily ported to Windows, Android, and iPhone, so that it can be used worldwide. I didn't realize when I started how big the problem is. In the US alone, 7.3 million people with a visual impairment, 2 million of whom have no functional vision. They are blind. And worldwide, those numbers soar to 285 million people, 39 million of whom are completely blind. Even if blindness is solved tomorrow, these people exist today, and we owe it to them to make their lives better. This is an example of what it's like, not even blindness, but age-related macular degeneration. And remember, anybody can develop a disability. Imagine, over months and years, watching your child's face blur and fade. And to John Mark, it happened suddenly. He had a stroke on the OR table. He went in for a quadruple bypass, woke up with a functioning heart, but blind, never able to see his kids play ball again, never able to see his wife's face again. We're looking to partner with state and federal agencies like Lighthouse Central Florida, which is a nonprofit, and with Central Florida Division of Blind Services. These are the organizations that give assistive technologies to visually impaired people. They use taxpayer funds to do it, so thank you for paying. And they also train them on how to use the device. And it is a crowded marketplace. But, as you can see, a lot of these solutions are not vibrotactile. They're audible interfaces, which are not usable by people who are deaf and blind. And by the way, most people who go blind are over the age of 50. So there's also concomitant hearing loss as well. And as you can see, one of these is a vibrotactile interface that you put in your mouth. I don't like picking on them, but imagine walking down the street with a worn vibrotactile interface that if you want to talk to someone, oh, I'm blind. WearLab is currently composed of myself. I'm a human factors PhD student at UCF and have a background in modeling and simulation from UCF. I've been working with a modeling and simulation PhD student by the name of Paul Uphold. I've been working with Dr. Stanley, who is electrical engineering faculty at FIT, and Mr. Michael Judith, who is on the Florida Council for the Commercialization of Public Research, FICAPER. We've been working with Joe Lacone, who's a grad student at FIT. He's programming our mobile app. Connor Smith, who is our UCF intern. He's been helping with the hardware. And Marion Oppold is our seamstress. And I'd like to take a moment to thank the Starter Studio mentors that I've worked with. Anessa Santos has helped keep me sane while simultaneously driving me insane. Many thanks for that. Sometimes I need it. I've been working with Dan Scala, Lynn Barrelsman, Leslie Miserak, and Ron Cook. And I'd like to thank the Starter Studio team. They only drove me insane, but they gave me a space to do it in. Some of the milestones that we've already achieved. We began in March 2015, and later that year, we already got National Science Foundation funding to do a feasibility study and start developing our proof of concept prototype, which was presented at Guidewell Innovation Center in February of 2016. Later, we presented at HCII, Human-Computer Interaction International, in Toronto in July 2016. And then Starter Studio began, and we got our provisional patent filed this month, and we're beginning app integration this month. Next month, we'll be doing performance validation and analysis. WearLab is committed to improving quality of life for people with disabilities, and not just people with disabilities, but you and you and you, by partnering with service organizations to help them fulfill their mission and educate the world about people with disability issues, so that people like John Mark don't have to be afraid. And Greg is absolutely right. When I moved to Florida 5 years ago, I didn't think there were mountains here. I found a hell of a one to climb. You can help us. If you are a doctor, or you know a doctor, or a nurse, or a clinician, or people who work at hospitals, we are looking to work with elder care centers, hospitals, clinics. We're looking to help to do field testing, and you can help us with that. Even if you don't know any doctors or nurses, you can always wear a blindfold, and we have to cross the street to get to a loft. I brought my prototype with me. And we're always open to accepting talent. Engineers, programmers, and textile experts. I've learned that I'm not very good at sewing. And let us know how we can help you. And most importantly, help us help 285 million people regain their dignity, their independence, their safety, and their freedom. Thank you.